Notice is given of a workshop meeting of the district's board of directors to be held at 105 Port Road, Port Isabel, Texas on September 23rd, 2025 at the hour of 4 o'clock for the consideration of the business of the agenda below. This notice is posted at the office of the district on September 17th, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. We call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. Everybody's present except Mr. Bowder, who just said he was late and couldn't make it. We'll rise for the pledge and invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to get together today and discuss the important items as we plan for this coming year. We ask you to please guide us, help us to make the best decisions for our community. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Item 3, discuss the budget for 25-26.
So gentlemen, in the packet, this you'll find that we prepared a budget. The highlights of this budget is we were able to have a $238,000 in capital outlay expenses for the current year. It includes a 2% COLA, cost of living adjustment for the employees. It also includes it accomplishes that without increasing the rates. We have a lot of ongoing projects right now, and we were able to fund also 2 new positions without having to increase our water and sewer rates. So that's just the high level overview of the budget. If you flip to page 18 of your packet.
Do you want us to use this for anything, or you want me to use it?
Not for right now, no. We'll just set that aside for now. On page 18, we can go through the items, the major purchases that we're proposing. In the water plant department, $12,500 for a bumper dump trailer. In the collections department, $55,000 for a new pickup truck. In the wastewater department, a new 4-inch pump for $60,000. There's in the IT department server for $3,348. Security cameras for $17,423. Desktop computer replacements for $5,400. Laptop replacement $7,500. And a Cradle Point, which is a backup internet for $1,099, and also another pickup truck for the construction department, $65,595. So the total there is $228,471. As you can see, there was a lot of requests from our departments that we reviewed, and we denied a total of $3.2 million of items that were requested. And also you can see the 2 positions that we're proposing down at the bottom of the page. A new position in the water plant and in the collections department. Do you have any questions?
I do. Let's go to the capital that is being proposed. The 2 trucks, I have no issue with truck acquisition, but there's an inconsistent number there representing what seems to be on paper the same kind of truck. I would imagine I mean, 2026 is brand new. 2500 HD is a nice trim, 4x4 truck. I shop for trucks on occasion. To get one at 65 is kind of a dream. To get one at 55 is definitely, it just, to me, 2026 Chevy 2500 HD 4x4 for 55 grand. If you mind sharing where we're buying that, I'd like to buy one too. I've got a 2022 smaller, it's a 1500, it's an ATV, not an HD, and it was 83. So to 2026, 2500 HD, I would triple check. If that's the vehicle you're getting, that ain't the price you're paying. And if it is, again, share that information with me. I'd love 5 of them. We'll get in the truck business.
Yeah,
And I just don't, the reason I bring that up,
Yes.
and this will probably be a theme as we carry on.
Mhm.
I don't want to say, yeah, go for it, and then 2 weeks later, we're having changes. Well, actually, it wasn't 55 grand, it was 102 grand. But we found the 45 grand somewhere else, and now we're going to go buy what we wanted. So,
Yeah, no, I think the, the 55,000 was if I'm not mistaken, it was a Colorado. It was a smaller size truck.
that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
2026, 2500 HD 4x4,
Yeah, I don't think
it's a $100,000
I
vehicle.
don't think it was an HD, no. The other one, the 26, for construction was a more heavy duty truck. They did go out and get different estimates, and 65 was the amount that was.
For a 2026 Chevy?
Buy board is how you're buying it. That's a totally different purchase price.
Yeah,
That's 30 grand less than the vehicle. I mean, again, let's just make sure we're good there, because I want it noted, if we're adjusting these amounts in a coming meeting, I'm gonna remind us all that I brought this to our attention. And I want that kind of due diligence with every piece of capital equipment that we go out there to buy. Because as we set these budgets and these expectations, you know, when we move through the year and we start making changes.
Yeah, we should have a quote that goes along with that number.
Again, all 4 vehicles, like, not against them, unlike some people. The Traverse joke of 8 years of age. Lighten up, Adam, I'm this way. All right, so I want to move on to the things that you cast aside or declined that represent that $3.2 million number. The chemical building repairs, the wet well, and the other rehab, what's that word? I don't know, I can't even pronounce it. Husachi or whatever?
Versace,
That's our water tower on the island.
Can we talk to, I mean, what are these repairs? Are they needed? Who's the one that was vouching for these in the room?
We do need those repairs. The chemical building, it's, you know, it needs a lot of improvement, other than with saying that, you know, it's imperative that we repair them, but it's still standing building, it's just not completely falling apart, but it does need repair, and we will need to repair them repair it in the next couple of years. The rehab for Versace was put in the current year, but more pressing matters came, and one of them being a bulk tank for our CIP for microfiltration plant in Laguna Vista. We needed to make an emergency purchase. It was a $52,000 purchase, if I'm not mistaken. We had to dip into that to make sure that we got it. We couldn't operate without it. So we went ahead and bought it and pushed this rehab for Versace till the next fiscal year.
Thank you for that explanation. So my overarching concern, you know, could also be spoken to the replacement of a 12-inch line or a 6-inch line, but there's certain maintenance that if we ignore, turn into emergency, you know, expending that we will incur later. Although I can absolutely appreciate the efforts made to shrink the budget, I don't want it to be, you know, at the, losing words here, at the whim of things that need to be addressed, right? Because, you know, we've all sat in these meetings where we get into the year, it's like, you know what, this thing we kicked to the side is now an emergency because it's failing and we've got to pay attention to it. So, you know, and then I'll say this, you know, I do budgets a lot, and 150 is kind of a round number. You know, if it was more specific and had something with it, what I want to encourage our group to do is throw a bid in there, throw some consideration in there. What absolutely needs to be done now? What does that exactly look like from an expense standpoint? And is that something we need to do? Noe, and if it is, whoever's in charge of said department that we're presenting to rehab, I don't want to be so quickly to just dismiss rehab. Now, I don't have the luxury of being intimately familiar with exactly what needs rehabilitated and exactly when that needs to be rehabilitated. But in these type of workshops and meetings, I'd like, some advocacy on that department's head's behalf to be like, hey, this could turn into a situation. Or I think we're okay for another year. Does that make sense?
Right, right. For the water tower itself, I think we should be fine. The more critical one is the chemical building repair. As far as those two, I don't see the department manager here. But,
Chemical building repair, sorry to interrupt, Noe, is probably a higher precedent than the other one. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the Huizache rehab is only corrosion on the outside. Aesthetically, it doesn't look nice,
Okay.
especially at South Padre. So,
If we're talking aesthetics, then I understand.
Yeah.
If we're talking functionality and there's a need, I'd love to hear it so that we can, does that make sense?
Right, right. No, yeah, like Mr. Alvan says, it's just the outside, the inside's good. I mean, for the most part, the tank is good and it just needs to be painted and minor repairs to some pitting to prevent it from becoming an issue down the road.
So dewatering press, 485, 12-inch line replacement, 6-inch line replacement. These are the other big figures that kind of jump out at me as potential emergencies, in the coming year. Does anybody want to speak on any of those three?
So the 6-inch line replacement is one in Laguna Vista. It's been, I think it's on Orange, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a site that we've visited over the years, that we've made repairs, that is just, created problems. And we're at the point that it probably just needs too many Band-Aids on it, just needs to be replaced here soon. And it's something that we want to account for and keep in mind when we do have this, because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
So.
And again, it's a round number and
Does
not,
that have anything to do with, where we had the sinking problem and all that?
No,
Well,
on Orange,
well,
it's nearby, right? But this is a water line, not a sewer line. Yeah.
and again, a round number. So, I would encourage us, if we don't finalize anything today and if we go back to the table, we look at these, we sharpen our pencil, we see, is there sections that absolutely need replaced? Does it need to be the entire? And if it does, do we put it out to bid, identify how we can save some money there and put it back here? All right, those are just a few of my thoughts. I'll stop talking now. I don't know if my colleagues have anything to add or subtract, or if you guys want to just continue on.
All good thoughts. Eddie, what do you want to say next? Where will you direct our attention?
Well, right now, we're open for discussion. I don't think it's necessary to go department by department. So.
Okay, great. Why don't you tell us a little bit about our revenues for this year, where they are, and where you think they're gonna be next year?
Okay.
And tell Jason what page you're on.
Okay, on the revenue side, if you go to page 3, you can see the revenues year by year. The expected revenues for this year is $15,032,637.
Hold on, where's that number?
At the bottom?
Bottom, the total revenues, the last final column on the right.
That's what you're projecting for 25, 26. What's 24, 25?
24, 25, is 14.
That's our budget, but what do we actually bring
Oh,
in?
good job.
Well,
Do we have a projected, like a reassessed number?
Yeah, we're projected to come in within 1% of this, so.
We are.
Yes. Mhm.
Higher or lower?
It's a little bit lower on the water side, a little bit higher on the sewer side.
When was this year-to-date capture?
June 30th.
It looks like it said there and I didn't see it. Now I see it. So this is 6 months. 7
That's right.
months. No, 6 months, yeah. So, right?
So you think we're gonna bring in around
Nine.
14,900,000? Or 14,800,000? Or 14,500,000?
It's gonna be closer to the 14,000,009, yes.
Okay. And so you basically see maybe $130,000 more this year,
Correct.
so flat. Why would you think we might bring in more money this year?
Just due to the growth, that's the primary reason.
How many new taps did we have last year, do you know? Anybody?
On average, we have about 126. Since 2015 to the present, the average is about 126.
Is it consistent? Like, did we
No,
actually
no.
have that many last year?
No.
Or didn't we have a big spike in 1920 and then,
Yeah,
slow
we,
last
we,
year.
we progressively got, increased. We're just at under, what, maybe about 2% every year.
okay,
And total has been, 1,138, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But last year was just a little bit over 100.
just a little bit over 100.
Is it LIV, have we started putting taps in LIV yet?
Have we started?
Yeah.
No.
No, right?
I don't think so.
And then,
Yeah, it's not still.
all right. So if this concluded in June 30th, isn't kind of our peak revenue July, August?
Yes, that's right.
And as I know it's not all equal here, but as you take,
Yeah,
11
July.
million, 104,964 divided by 6, that's an average of 1.8 a month, and we haven't even got a peak month of July and August. But as good as July and August is that as bad as December and November is? It's just, because if I take that rationale and multiply it by 12 months, that forecasts 22 million.
No,
But you're
no,
telling me
no,
we're coming.
you divide it by 6, it should be 9. Because we started in October.
Thank you. I knew there had to be something wrong. That's what happens when you let the football player do the math. 964 divided by 9, because we only have 3 more months, that's 1.2 times 12, 14,806. Thank you. Good job, Noah.
Was our revenue so much better in 23, 24 than last year and what you're projecting for next year?
23-24 had 2 big unexpected items, which was annexation fees for 444,109, and also
Is that castle or whatever?
that was the
85 acres for the shores.
it was the shores and the Bahia Point.
Oh, okay.
Shores and Bahia Point both came in at the same time in that fiscal year.
So that's
And
basically it, anything else?
the grant income, 490,000, so we had a grant that year for a feasibility study, $1 million for our seawater desalination. And it was a match, so they gave us 490,
And we spent 490?
yes.
Great.
So we're only estimating to make $230,000 more next year. That seems conservative.
That's right. It is conservative. We're also expecting the impact from Isla Blanca. Isla Blanca is renovating their park. All of the trailers, the RVs slots are gonna be out of commission for the next 12 months. So we're expecting that to impact us about 166,000 less.
Less.
Yes.
Yeah, you're accounting for 226,000, $250,000 more.
How many more employees do we have currently this year than we did last year?
For the 2025
Is there a
budget
page I
year-
can look at to see this?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm just referring back to the previous budgets. So for the 2025 fiscal year, we approved 2 positions.
But how many are currently, and do we hire them?
Yes. Yes, we did.
So for last year, we grew 2 people.
That's right.
Great. And how many people work right now for us, full-time?
Yes, I don't have that number right now.
We should have
About
93, if I'm not mistaken.
93, that sounds right.
Do you have do you have exact numbers for that for the past 5 years?
I do not. I do not. I just have the notes from the previous budgets.
To me, I mean, let's dig into the nuts and the potatoes of the whole thing, and the most uncomfortable part, let's just dive into it. It's on page 16. It's the number one driver of our cost. And I texted you this morning, Eddie, because I didn't want to surprise you, and I figured you'd share what I said with the team. So I added up, you guys starting in 21, and each year, our expenses from overtime all the way down through travel and training as a percentage of our overall budget. And it went first year 44.7, 22, 23, it's 45.4, next year 43.6, all kind of within a consistent range. I would point out too that is higher than, say, like the first 2 years that I've been here, which is coming up on 7 years now. So I remember when it was a much smaller percentage. It was in the 30s actually. So it grew up to these mid 40s, had a pretty good jump last year. And now, like I told you, Eddie, we're now projecting to spend 51%, so over half our budget on salaries and benefits and all that. So we've gone from 44, 45, 43, we'll just call that 45 up to 51. Guys, it's untenable to me. I don't know how we can do it. I also recall sitting at these board meetings within the last 5 years and only having 78 employees. We weren't even over 80. And I mean, it has to have been within the last 5 years. We've only added, according to the numbers, 500 people to the population. And for those 500 people, we've needed 10 more employees, actually 15 more employees. You guys, that's killing our budget right there. And I'd be happy to be told that I'm wrong, that we've had 90 plus for a while. I can't condone 51%. Every single year we have approved the step ups. We included a raise in the step ups. We've approved the COLA, but quite frankly, and I don't want to say nobody deserves it, because everybody deserves more money, and we all want it, but we have to run a business too, and when we start pushing our budget up 6% more over a 2-year time for one segment, quite frankly, we should have been presented with something that was more in line with the years past. So let you speak to it too.
Sorry if I can just interrupt you. You just mentioned that over a 2-year time went up 6%. I do want to mention that in 23-24, when we did get those annexation fees, that plays a role in it. With the budget that was proposed, we would have been right around that. I don't know if it makes it any better, but it's right around 46%.
Is that in there?
So that's about average.
Where is that number in there? On page 16, those annexation fees as a percentage of the budget expense? Because I didn't take my numbers as a percent of revenue. I took them as a percent of spending.
Right. Yeah, but we present a balanced budget, so the approved budgets are,
You'll see it on page 3,
Are the
the
same
annexation
number.
fees should be on page 3, no?
Yeah, I've seen the annexation fee. I don't know how it transfers over to the budget expense summary.
yeah, we transferred 985,000 to seawater desal that year. That was the corresponding move that we did on the expenditure side.
Okay, great. So if that, instead of 43.6 that year, makes us a little bit closer to 46%, that's great. It's slightly better, but it doesn't change the fact that we've creeped from, let's just call it 45 up to 51. And the real number for me is when we're spending over 51%. I mean, it's a serious creep, you guys. And there's no easy way around it, especially when we look at a budget where we said no to over $3 million in things for the district to keep things going. So, and it'd be one thing if we were adding 1,000 new homes a year, but we're adding 100 people a year, and we need 2 more people this year again to service that extra 100 people. That one is also hard for me to digest. I don't have the solution for you, and it's kind of not my role to come up with that solution, but it is. And I think I echo everybody, you know, we're spending, from 21 to 22, we spent about $350,000 more on salaries and benefits. From 22 to 23, it was about $450, then it went up to $550, now we're up to $650,000 more a year. You know, it's the power of compounding. This is the only part of our budget that compounds, because we have the steps, and then we have the percentages of COLA, and we all know the eighth wonder of the world is compounding interest. That was Einstein who said that. So if we allow that compounding to go, where's it gonna be next year? We don't have to be rocket scientists to know that if we did this for 5 more years, we're gonna be at 2/3 of our budget is gonna be spent on salaries and benefits. So at some point, like, we gotta draw a line in the sand and say, hey, what are we gonna do about this? To
It'd be
me,
different if our revenue was going up.
revenue is flat,
Revenue
yeah.
was flat.
Yeah, I mean, when my wife comes home and wants to spend more stuff and the revenue's flat, she's out of luck, you know? So I have to make sure I get my spending in. So it's, there's not an easy way around it. We gotta draw a line in the sand at some point due to the compounding nature of it. I think a pretty reasonable time to do it is when you go from 46 to 51%. And if my numbers are wrong, correct me, but I don't think they're wrong, Eddie. And I'm glad that 2 of those, you know, part of that can be solved by not hiring 2 more people. But to me, it takes a sharp pencil to the human resources side of things to figure out where we wanna go with it.
So I mean, basically it's that drop in the transfer out to capital that causes such a big shift in the percentage, right? If we're not transferring a lot out to capital for the next budget.
I mean,
So,
Charles, the revenues are stable for 3 years, but our spending on salaries and benefits has gone from, you know, take 4.2 and add up those other numbers. I think the salaries is representative of everything overall.
yes.
So I mean, when it goes from 4.2, we'll call it 4.3, up to 5, which is, you know, 5.06, like, that's it right there, like, that's a lot of money. And there's no easy way around it. I understand everybody wants to get COLA, I understand everybody wants a step up. What is the percent step up every year?
2.5.
It's 2.5
The
is
employee
the
passes
step up?
evaluation is 2.5.
Has anybody not got that 2.5 in the last 8 years or 7 years I've been here?
There has been employees, it is very difficult to not approve a step increase when salaries are not competitive with inflation.
Yeah,
It's very
sure.
difficult. So we try to communicate that to the employee and stress the importance of having quality employees and building them up. Another thing to mention is all of this is in preparation to receive Long Island Village, which is over 1,000 units. The completion of that Bahia Point, all the development in the golf course, the new subdivision that's taking place here at the entrance of 510 and 100. I mean, it's in preparation for all the development, which is why
But the
we're trying
revenue
to.
should,
Hey,
revenue should be up too then, with all that going on.
Well, the problem with that is that we try to minimize the amount of rate increases that we actually do, right? So the cost of our water bill in comparison to our neighbors, it doesn't really compare. We're on the cheaper end of it, and we try to keep it there. So it's difficult for revenues to continue building in that fashion.
What have our revenues gone up every year over the past 5 years? I think we've done a revenue increase, or a rate increase every single year that I've been here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, since 2018, we've done some rate increase.
I think
So
we've
to
done
answer
it
part of your
every year.
question, an employee that does not pass an evaluation is literally let go. He doesn't get that, and he's been let go. We've had at least 2 in the past 5 years or so. And in preparation also for the new employee under the water plant is that they need at least 1 to 2 years to get their C operator's license. And we're looking forward to the new plant, the desal plant, and we need an operator that can be able to operate the plant.
So what I would just point out is, this is not me, this is the number that says it. When the numbers goes over 50, I didn't make that number. our decisions did, or
No, I
quite frankly, your guys' decisions did. So I think that, like I said, if we don't do something, Eddie, you know, you can tell him, yeah, guys, compounding interest, he's right, it's gonna go up every single year. So when will we stop it? That would be my question, and I would say at some point it's gotta get stopped. Or at some point we gotta say like, this and no higher, right? Like this and no higher, and we're gonna have to figure it out amongst ourselves, how we're gonna make sure that it doesn't go higher than that. And maybe that could be a rate increase. I'm not saying we don't do rate increases, that's gotta be part of it, absolutely. When you say, hey, we're lower than other places, we know we're gonna go higher if we have desal. Like that, we know for sure that that would be a step up. And I can't, it's the most awkward thing in the entire world, quite frankly, to have to sit up here in front of a bunch of people and be like, yeah, sorry, you shouldn't get more money. Like it's an absolutely, I'm partly kind of mad that I got presented with it and have to do it, because I feel like it should have got looked at ahead of time and somebody should have been like, oh, you guys 51%, that's kind of pushing it. And it's not something I like to do, because you're all men and women who work hard and want, you know, to be fairly compensated and go to work and feel like you're appreciated. And I think we've tried to communicate that over the years we've all been here. I know the men sitting up here feel that way, and I've never seen Scott be anything but respectful and supportive of you guys. So we all feel the same way. This is a numbers thing. It's a business thing. How do we, to me, I would say we have to draw a line somewhere. To me, it would be 50%. That's what I would do. And I would say never go over it. I think as our mandate to the public, you know, we have to do that. So there's no way around it for me. The first thing I would do is try to stop growing. The second thing I would do is try to shrink. The third thing I would do is see if a rate increase is acceptable. Obviously we have to grow when we get, you're right, like that's gonna be a lot of more work. Long Island Village, those are individual taps rather than just one place. At the same time, they've had a lot of broken pipes too over the years that I'm sure we've had to spend time fixing. So I don't know if it's gonna be more or less work. What's our average number of steps people have achieved? Like, do we have a more veteran team than we did, say, 5 years ago? Like, oh yeah, the average number now is 19, whereas, you know, we were younger. Just like a football team can have be a veteran team or a younger team, like where are we at with that right now? Tough to say? Okay, it's all right. I know those aren't normal questions. That certainly contributes to stuff too. So that's my comments on it. I feel like at some point we got to draw a line in the sand. When I saw the jump, you know, other years we've said yes, 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 out of respect and knowledge for the work that we need to do. 51% to me, I'd say you got to figure out how to get it to 50. And part of that has to be figuring out what we're doing with our salaries, benefits, travel. I mean, we got retirement, longevity, top of the line healthcare. So I think it's top of the line healthcare. If it's not,
I think when you have retention, which you probably have, you don't do a lot of turnover, you're gonna have obviously increases in more salary and things like that. I think as we had it when we were in the hotel, you know that we didn't turn over a lot of people, and so it kept getting higher and higher. But then it's how many people do you have on and still do the job. So the first step I would say is maybe we don't put on those 2 people.
Yes,
We did work on that, and I believe that we decided to hold off on 2 people, 2 employees. And the good news is that Robert and I are gonna plan to retire in the next few months. So
next few months.
I hope so.
Great.
Yeah,
Take your
yeah,
guys'
yeah.
salaries off the top, and it goes down $1 million.
There you go, there you go. Yeah, I've been here already 39 years, so that's
Well,
over my limit.
it's a long
Over 65.
career, and you guys should certainly be proud of your hard work, and I know everybody here would say the
So
same thing.
I know that we're prepared to you know, retire and have somebody available to step in for us. So I believe the employees that we have now are able to do that. We've been training them for the last 1.5 years maybe, or 2 years, close to 2 years. So
Something else the board may want to consider, and it's happened with colleges and universities and I believe with some state agencies, where at some point in time they make a fail somebody that's already close to retiring, give them a $40,000-$50,000 bonus.
I know our school district did that when I was in it. It's not a bad idea. I'll walk it back for a minute. Thank you, Dr. Lalonde, for getting us to the most uncomfortable portion of the meeting, but it's definitely one that needs to be discussed. I mean, it's not a popularity contest, and we definitely take this responsibility very serious, and we don't want to sit up here and be that bored, you know. And I'm proud of the work that we've done to get in the place that we're at today, where we are accounting for so much of our budget for salaries and benefits that we all deserve and fought for. But just so everyone's tracking, because it took me a while to get to a place where I was fully understanding. It's essentially on page 16, line item 1, which is, are you including bank service and collection fees or
No,
just
it's
overtime?
overtime
Yeah.
down.
So it's overtime, which is 6410, all the way down to travel and training, which is 6454. When we add those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 line items up, we come up with the sum that is 7,670,000 roughly. It's just under that. And that, when you take that number and divide it by your budget of 15,032,637, is over 51% of your budget. And so that's, for anyone else in the room that was like me, that was trying to catch up, that's how we're getting to that 51%. And what we're wanting to encourage ourselves to do is go back and look at this holistically, strategically, to try to get us at the 50, which is what I'm hearing is kind of the threshold that, you know, we feel like is being a good steward with our community's resources. And how we get there, you know, the considerations, you know, retirement can be a consideration, but revenue needs to definitely be a consideration. So anytime you're trying to run a, you know, profitable business, you got to really start this conversation with revenue, and then based off of your projected revenue, you know, you've got to have percentages of every tier of your budget and how that feeds into that. And I think 50% to take care of our awesome staff is a generous percentage of any budget. But raising that bottom line budget, the revenue, is going to help us too. But the overarching point that we, not just Dr. Lalonde, I think it's important that I say I'm aligned with this school of thinking as well, is if we do tiers every single year with the compounding, you know, components, eventually we price ourselves into a place where now I don't know if we're doing our responsibility to our families, you know, and our communities outside of this family. There's a balance there that we've got to consider about affordable water, especially as we creep, hopefully, quicker into desalinization world and whatever that's invariably going to cost, which will require labor and skilled management and all the things that we need to scale up to. But just holistically, in case anyone was like me, I'm the slow reader group from Marshall. You know, if you drive by that institution slow enough, they'll throw a diploma in your car. That's one of those deals. Couple things I want to bring attention to: lower level weeds. As we're still in that category around salaries, you know, in 2021 to 2022, that first actual 3.798240. I too would like to know how many employees that represented, so I can further break this down and make a little bit more sense of it on your benefit. The next actual just increased $90,000 to the 4.082. The next actual now had a big jump, and that was 210. We may have hired some people there. You know, if we can help explain that line item underneath that, 4.290, and then it jumped to 332,000. Now we're at the 4.6, and then the proposed jump is another $440,000. So I think it's important to quantify how many employees that salary actually represents, and another, you know, measurable could be the years of service that represents too, the tiers of service within that. So, you know, he's right. I mean, I played ball and I priced myself out of a job. You know, I was the cheap kid on the block, and they fired the expensive veteran that played in 4 Super Bowls because I was the cheap kid. But then 4 years later, I was the expensive kid. So they said, pack your bags, we're going to grab another cheap kid. We don't want to be cheap. We want to be good stewards, right? And skill, experience, salaries, jumps, These are all considerations, you know, which feeds into my point I was making earlier. There could be some other things. And the money that I was talking about before, I don't want to come from your table. The things that we may be considering that need rehab, so they're not emergencies later, you know, I see this insurance down to 68.53. And I know insurance has gone up. It has kind of found, you know, a place, but there's $326,000 insurance increase. And I'm not talking about health benefits. I'm talking about insurance for the company because it's down the lower line. So I imagine that's what, risk, general liability, those types of insurance. Is that what we're talking about here?
Are you talking about line 6414 group insurance?
Talking about 68.53. I'm now not talking about personnel insurance. I'm talking about the $740,483 tab. It's $326,000 more than last year.
So that is the projected insurance. The big increase is covering that new microfiltration water plant that we're building. It's projected to come online. It's the plant and the water tower.
What type of insurance is it? Is it general liability?
This is property insurance and windstorm as well. So it's all that. It's liability, it's property, it's windstorm. Yeah, that's the projected increase that's needed to cover that.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit at the bottom, Eddie, 8501 transfer out capital projects? You got in the first year 825, then 1,035,000, then 2,165,000, then 1,000,000, and then this year nothing. Is that because you're proposing way less capital money? Just talk me through the transfer numbers.
So the transfer out to capital projects is what's needed to finish projects that we're funding ourselves. So sometimes it's a partial funding, sometimes it's fully funded projects. So that number tends to fluctuate. For the current year, we're working on a lot of bond-funded projects, and there's not really a lot of internal projects that were approved in this budget. As you can see on the page where we discussed the projects that were denied, there were some projects that would have fallen into this category, but they were not preliminarily approved.
The 8,500 line just above that, transfer out debt services.
So that is revenue funded bonds. So we have several bonds that are outstanding that are revenue funded. So as money comes in, we set that aside, we transfer it to the debt service fund, and then we'll make the payments out of it.
I have to believe as a consideration as well when we go to get funding for stuff that they look at the same thing I'm looking at. In terms of like what we're rated.
They look at credit rating, and so there's many dimensions and aspects that we're rated on. So the financial health of the organization, that's one of the factors of the financial health of the organization.
That was a long way to say yes, Eddie. Yeah, it's true. When they see that where you're spending a lot of money, then that can hurt. So I would just tell you guys, like for me, this budget straight up, you put it in front of me tomorrow, I'm not gonna pass it myself. I can't speak to anyone else, but I need to see something that keeps our employee expenses, in line. I would prefer in line with years past. I even think 50% is too high. I think when we're running 45, 46, 47, great. Get it, put it to 47 and tell me how you guys wanna do it. Is it a mix of, a revenue increase with not hiring people with, that's up to you guys. Like, I can't know that. But I don't think that it's healthy to run at 51%, especially when I know we just said no to $3.2 million worth of stuff too. Like we're spending $650,000 more on employees projected next year versus this year. That's basically a 10% increase in what we ran last year. And the 650 just comes from adding all those up. And I don't have a problem doing it, except for the fact that then it puts us in a financial place that's unhealthy. So we gotta figure out a way to do it in that.
What was our percentage last year? of this category? You did that math already, do you remember?
Yeah, 47.
47%.
Scott, I think Scott's still there. He may just sound like the voice from heaven, and will instill his 46 years of wisdom on this board. Scott, you got anything you want to add, or tomorrow's a more appropriate time when you're in person?
Are you there?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
sir.
here.
We can-
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate you delivered the facts, Doctor, and I support and concur with what you say. You cannot operate more than 50%. In the restaurant business, we run about 35 to 40%, and that's a peak number.
And this is a peak number for us. So I just think we gotta figure out how we're gonna look at it, and that's up to you guys. And if that means we gotta wait till it passes till another week, then that's what we do.
That's my support, and I agree with you, Doctor.
As long as, we're willing to come to a special meeting, that's what would be required.
We are,
So.
Why?
If.
Why special? Why not just the next meeting?
Which is tomorrow.
Yeah, why not after, the next one after that?
It has to be approved before the beginning of the fiscal year,
Or what?
which is October 1st,
Or what?
I think.
No budget.
Does somebody go to jail?
Technically, we wouldn't have a budget for the new year, which.
Nobody goes to jail and
we're
there's no
sending
fine.
you to jail, Eddie. But we'll post bond after the October.
Maybe that's a
board
question for Brian.
Where's that in the budget?
What do you mean? So I do have numbers for you as far as if we want to cut the COLA, that would save $103,000.
Eddie, let me help you here,
Mhm.
if I may. Our revenue, based on our forecasted budget of $15,032,637, compared to previous year. Yeah, because I'm comparing to the previous year budget, since I don't want to run forecasting numbers off of it actual. So it only increased, the budget only increased 0.0104. Our salary percentage of last year was what, 47 or 46?
47.
So find a place where we can land at 48 or 48.5 would be my recommendation. We're not here to say no bumps, whatever that looks like. I don't know if you're hiring people, if that's even a discussion in order to give the ones that are still here. I don't hear enough new taps, to warrant this year hiring a bunch of new people. We will eventually get there. But, we're all in favor of taking care of the ones that are here, but we want to do it responsibly. If your revenue's gone up, forecasted 1%, increase this category 1%. And again, what we're looking at is overtime all the way through travel and training, those 10 line items. When we add that up, divide that by your budget, don't just increase your budget, right? Don't go and move that number, 15,032,637.
Eddie,
As a
again,
point
what
of
was the
information-
insurance that you were saying that, why did it go up 340?
Water treatment.
The new water treatment plant is scheduled to come online this year, during this budget year.
Is that just an estimate that you did, or have you talked?
I contacted the insurance agents and asked them for estimates as far as how much we can expect to cover. The building is gonna be valued around $20 million. How much does it cost to cover a new
Property insurance.
$20 million building for property and windstorm?
Realize, Eddie, if that number was, say, $400,000 in line with what it was this year, then instead of a 51%, we'd be looking at 53% that our employee costs would cover. So if that line didn't go up, our employee costs would look even more egregious, which I think you understand, right? You guys understand what I just said?
I
too?
do.
Like, we added to the bottom, which sure as heck helped that top number. So, I mean, it's I would like to know the number of employees added every year for the past 5 years. And I think you guys should know that off the top of your heads. That's an internal number that we have to track, that we have to be knowledgeable about.
I can tell you in 2021, we added 3 new positions. In 2022, we added 2 new positions. In 2023, we added 3. In 2024, 0. And in 2025, 2.
The
So-
total sum, we believe, is 93.
93.
Nobody says that with confidence, I believe. But let's have that running in, you know, and I would even like to kind of know the tiers of experience.
So that was 10, is that the number that I just saw, the past 5 years? I wasn't trying to
Yeah,
do it.
I didn't.
We'll just say 10. So we've gone up about 15% in our employees. And I mean, that alone covers a whole lot of the increase, right? That 15%, which once you add somebody, like it's there forever. And that's a big portion of it. And it's that adding which makes this discussion then come up. It's the having to bring new people on that then makes it that much harder the next year to say no. So it sounds like we may be 2 guys lighter next year.
Heavy guys.
Two
Too heavy.
2 heavy guys lighter?
Heavyweights.
I didn't say that, Carlos. You look just as good as the day I started. Soon you'll look as good as Mr. Gomez.
Just as a point of information, the revenue budget for water is a little bit less than what it would normally be because Isla Blanca Park will be closed for most of next year. So, he budgeted what, $166,000 less than normally would.
Yeah, and that hurts the number too. And the crappy part about running a business is when you bring in less revenue, that makes you have tough choices. Like that's how that works. Unfortunately, you can't always say, well, we got less revenue, but we still, you know, we have to give ourselves, you know, X, Y, and Z. Like sometimes you gotta say no. Because if you don't, then if you don't draw your line in the sand, then eventually you slam into a wall. And so we're trying to like decelerate responsibly right now and come up to that line rather than just keep barreling ahead and then someday you get a different board in here and they see the number and they're just like, cool, slash 10 employees tomorrow. Like, and
Or
that's,
even this board. I mean, as nice as we've been, when you hit the wall, somebody's got to right the ship. And I don't want to be a part of that meeting, but I would be. And so in predicting that's your future, we need to be a little bit more responsible with our present. And that's why we're having this uncomfortable conversation.
yeah, I don't wanna hit the wall and get to that point. And this was like the warning sign that flashed, you know, every year I sit up here, I'm like, we can spend money, but this year's like, okay, we gotta actually be smart about it. So and you guys all know this, y'all run families, so you know, like sooner or later, you have to make a hard choice, and this is the hard choice year. I would say, let's make the hard choice now and hard plan out for what we're gonna do the next couple of years. And then just kind of have this be a standard budget thing, so that when it comes up in front of the board, like, we don't have to have this talk up here. Like, if there's one thing that we're trying to get across is like, let's have the hard talk before it has to be up front. Like, we can figure that out and then it makes it easier, right? So anyways, that's my 2 cents. I think Scott and these guys agree. Maybe Bowder come in tomorrow and just say, jack it all up, give them everything.
Yes, I support, Doctor.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
So I don't think we need to belabor the point. I would suggest you come back with a number of different options. Some may be, hey, we gotta pay everybody less. Some may be, no, we're still gonna do the step and the COLA, and we're also gonna raise rates. Some may be, we're gonna cut employees and do the COLA, and like, give me a mix. Give us some considerations that I think gets us closer to 48%, like Jason said, and the 50%'s a hard wall. And I also would love to see, and never ever have, to my knowledge, getting older, you say like, hey, our rates are a little bit lower. Cool, tell me the rates in Brownsville, San Benito, Los Fresnos, Rio Hondo, Harlingen. And then I'll be like, this is crazy, we're jacking them up, our rates up 25%, like we should be in line. Like, I don't know why we should be cheaper than everywhere else, but I've never seen those numbers to be able to fairly make a decision on that. So
Good point.
I would be happy to see that. And that way, if somebody's like, why did our water rates go up? Well, because we are paying 25% less than everyone else, and that's not fair to our district staff. Right? But right now, I can just be like, I don't know.
And so to wrap this up, if there's not a real consequence for pushing this to the October next scheduled meeting, we'd like to opt to do that. If there is a real consequence, then
I'll speak for myself, I'm happy to have an emergency meeting in order to get this through,
Special meeting, yeah,
or special, whatever you call it. But let's just not assume that we gotta have a special, like, let's make sure there's no real consequence.
Yeah, I mean, if we would do it at the next one, you'd present us some good options, you know, and we could go from there with it. So I'm happy to do it. I think we just have to draw the line at the right place.
I won't be here till tomorrow.
Consideration.
I'll be back Tuesday. I'll be here Tuesday,
Okay.
and I'm free.
Well, what's not here tomorrow, we're not doing it tomorrow, right? We're gonna remove that agenda item for tomorrow, or we'll table it or
If we
whatever.
were to come up with 49 or 48%,
48,
let's say we come up with 48% tomorrow with whatever ideas that we've come up with today because we discussed it. I mean, it would be,
I'd be open to
there's
that
no
as,
holding us back,
as
right?
long as there's something I can look at, I'd like to look at it. So if somebody could drive up and drop it off at gallery office, or email it, if that's an option,
Yeah, we don't need the whole thing, shoot us.
just shoot us that
A
page,
simple pager, right?
a one pager, and then yes. But let's be responsible here, right? Like, let's do it right. If it takes longer, let's do it right. We're talking about people's money here. But I'm with you. I'm with you. If you have the solutions in mind, then meet as a group and get there, and we won't stop you.
Would this revision the board consider any kind of a payout?
Not for tomorrow, no. Sorry. I did consider it, and I'm on the other side of that consideration. That's just me.
You guys can always tell us I'm always one to give me information, that's a harder one for me to get to though, especially when we're saying no to a bunch of.
What
big
he's
projects.
saying is show them on paper, but tomorrow I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I can't do calculus in the next 12 hours.
So-
I explained the Marshall point already. But if we give me a week or so, I can do some higher level math. Because there's precedents that you set, and we just gotta look at it. We gotta look at
Are
it.
you gonna get a guy from Notre Dame to show you?
Absolutely, that's why I sit next to him.
We,
Charles, yeah?
I mean, it's the question, if we, by whatever amount we reduce on salaries, does that, we offset with capital to keep the same budget, but we'll just apply it to new capital projects that have not made the funding line at this point?
That's a great point.
Yes, I mean, that's how
is the
you have
answer.
to do it, right?
Yes,
We're
that's the answer.
basically talking about
Keep the
that.
budget the same, reduce the salaries, make it come to a 48%. Yes.
Or some mix of increase the revenue to add more projects, which will also help that number, right?
But then raise
Combination of those three things.
It's gonna be flat this year,
Because you're right.
and he says it's gonna be.
You obviously didn't go to Marshall.
It won't
But when we
be-
reduce the salary, it's gonna reduce that bottom number. We've gotta do something to keep that thing constant.
Right,
So we-
because if there, I mean, because, you know, we did a year of borrowing against our general fund, then we reimbursed it, and then there's so much carrying forward, that's why our capital transfer out is so small this year. But, you know, it's just because of that reimbursement and the 10 million getting received, that's how you see that big swing.
And again, apart from the percentages that we keep referring to, there's a $440,000 increase, if I can find my notes, something like that, without having to look, you know what I'm saying? So let's pay attention to that too, because we didn't hire 10 people to account for that, whatever that math would be. Yeah, roughly there. Okay,
Sir,
and then we have a little presentation coming after this, like an informal little.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for everything you do. Sorry for the uncomfortable meeting. I'm sure for the football officials in the room, no calls will go my way next week. Just kidding, he's like, yeah. Everyone's holding. No, thank you guys very much. Have a good evening. We'll get there, I'm sure of it.
Flags all over the place.
I throw a flag on the guy in the press box.
so I think we have to adjourn the.
Yeah, hit the damn gavel.
Done.